big news is that I am going to be buying a house later this year, so early fall. The house is being built right now, and it is through Habitat for Humanity, so I won't know exactly when I'll be buying that. I still have to finish off on my volunteer hours, but that is coming. So it's also partly why I'm really getting focused on my finances. So I also want to just make a note to myself, things that I need to do this period. So one of which is I need to change my auto deposit through my work. Right now I've got money going to 2 different accounts, and I want to consolidate that just into one main account. Then I also I've got some checks that I need to deposit. No use them just sitting around in my wallet, so I need to deposit the checks. And I have an email transfer that I need to accept as well. And then finally, before the 1st, I need to cancel my Amazon Prime subscription. I don't know how they always get me, but they always get me. And I always promise myself that I'm going to cancel it before the month is up, and I never do. So they got me this time, but I will cancel that soon. Okay, so let's start with this period's budget. So I'm starting off the period. I've got, well, this is my budget. So got to start with the carry forward. And for my carry forward, I'm probably going to have budget $2,100 starting the period off. Then I'm gonna have my salary. Now this is my net, meaning my taxes have already been remitted, EI, CPP, and anything else, my union dues, that's sort of good stuff, but budgeting $2,140. I also have other, this is the checks that I was mentioning and the transfer. Small amounts, $40. We'll see. Maybe I might be able to find some other checks by the end of this. Who knows? All right. So in total, that brings me to $4,280 that I'm working with for this paycheck. So next section, auto deposit. So this is that pay yourself first. So important to set up your savings and have them come out automatically. So for me, first off, I've got, this is my retirement. I contribute to the pension. It's approximately 10% of my gross pay. And that's $245 each paycheck. Next, I also have an auto transfer, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where I had this auto transfer go to 2 different accounts, and now I just want to have it into one account. So this, I'm now consolidating it, and this goes into my spending fund. Now, I've talked about this before in the past, how I don't report on clothing, gifts, all these other things, and that I have a separate bank account that deals with that. And this is the spending fund. A lot of people call this sinking funds. I don't, and that's just because went to school. Sinking fund means something totally different. This is a savings fund, I guess. So my spending funds, I put $425 every paycheck into this bank account, and from there, that's where I manage my clothing purchases. I have my CPA dues. They're due annually, and that's about $1,000. So I save money in that account every paycheck to go towards that. So yeah, this is that concept that if you've watched other videos on YouTube, you'll probably hear it referred to as sinking funds. So this $425 represents all of that. All right, so this brings us to a total of $670 that right off the top of that paycheck gets allocated out and leaves me with $3,600 $610. So the next step in this process, and there's a reason for it, is the fixed expenses. These are things that you cannot avoid. This is your rent, your payments if you have any, utilities, that sort of thing. It's always important to get that straight away so you can see how much money you have after all that. So on the 28th, I have my cell phone bill. And I'm hoping it's going to be about $50, although I might have gone over on my data. I'm not sure. I also have my hydro. So this only comes out once every 2 months. And since we're in the summer, it's not going to be a lot. Then I've got rent. Yep. And that's $14.50. So I don't know where you're watching from, but I am on the west coast of Canada, and our rent, house prices as well, is just astronomical. I pay $14.50 a month, but I am in a very small 2-bedroom basement suite. It is nothing fancy, and $14.50 for that small 2-bedroom basement suite is actually a heck of a good deal where I'm at. So yeah, but as you can see, it takes up a big chunk. Also, I typically would have after school care. That would come out on the 1st. I don't even know why I'm writing this down, but it is the summer, so I don't have that expense. And then finally, within this pay period, the only other mandatory payment that will be coming out is my car insurance. And that is about $135, or that's what I'll be budgeting for that. So in total, all of the mandatory expenses that are coming out is going to be $1,690. And then that will leave me with $1,920. This is a period of high expenses, as in you can see, like I have a high carry forward amount, but that's also because this period has rent, it has hydro, sometimes it has after school care, and my car insurance. So that's why I have such a high carry forward amount this period. Now moving over, I've got $1,920 left. The only variable expenses I really deal with are groceries, and that I'm gonna budget $250. Gasoline for my car. Because it's COVID and because I'm working from home right now, I have not been driving my car very much. Typically, I would budget $175 for every 2 weeks. I am going to lower that, and I'm going to say $125. I fill my car up every week, and that's for 2 reasons. First, I hate when my car gets close to empty, or I shouldn't say I hate when my car gets close to empty. I am that person that will drive my car until like stars are shining on the dash saying there are no kilometers left. But it's incredibly stressful, and usually if I'm driving the kids to soccer practice or something like that, I just hate seeing that I've got like 8 kilometers left. It just adds an extra stress. So I've started filling my car up with gas every Sunday. Whether it needs it or not, it's just top it up every Sunday. And that has taken that stress out of my life. Plus, it's normalized my gasoline budget, whereas sometimes in the past, I'd have $175. I'd make that stretch to basically the day after the pay period, and then I'd have 3 fill-ups in one. So anyway, it's normalized that gas expense for me. And then the last one here, moving along, is miscellaneous. And I'm just gonna give myself $100 for that. So that brings me to a total of $475 in variable expenses, and leaves me with $1,445 budgeted. Now this is where in the past, when I did have debt that I was paying down, I'd figure out, did I want to make an additional debt payment or an additional savings deposit? I know that next period I'm not going to have as many expenses and I don't need a large carry forward. I'm going to carry forward $1,050, and this will then allow me to have a deposit of, am I doing the math correctly? $395. I don't think that's correct. Maybe it is. Anyway, so that is my budget for the next 2 weeks between July 24th and August 6th. I find this method helps so much because this way